Last week I met a very incredulous gentleman, a taxi driver. I was in this taxi cab, and after a few blocks he said to me, "Say, you wouldn't happen to be, would you?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I wonder how I could ever convince anybody that you were in my cab." Well, I said, "Come to the office, and I will autograph a book for you. And then you can show them the autograph." He said, "They won't believe that you autographed it. They will think somebody else did." And he said, "I want to show them when you're on television. I never get to see you on television. I have to earn my living, and Tuesday night I'm out hacking." I said, "All right, here's $5. Next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, you go into a bar. You give $1 to the bartender and ask him, give him that as a tip. And then the $4 is to pay for not driving your hack for a half hour. And then, when we come on television, you can tell everybody at the bar." But he said, "Suppose they don't believe me." Well, I said, "I tell you what I will do. Next Tuesday night I'll tell the story. Then they'll have to believe you. Now I've paid my debt." Would it please you if tonight we talked on the subject of communism? And the reason we're going to talk about it is because there's considerable confusion in our American life about communism. There's much emotional hate of communism and not very much thinking and reasoning about it for a long time, and even at the present time. Americans generally judge communism by Russia's foreign policy. Now, communism is not to be judged by Russia's foreign policy. If it is, well then, when Russia's foreign policy is favorable to the United States or the Western world, we're apt to believe that communism is good. And when Russia's foreign policy is unfavorable to the Western world, then we fall into the mood of believing that communism is wrong. It is well to realize that communism is wrong independently of Russia's foreign policy. Then there is another aspect of communism, and that particular one is that man has value only inasmuch as he is a member of a class. In one of his earlier writings, Karl Marx, who was the founder of communism, said, "We have already destroyed the outer priest. Now we must destroy the inner priest. That is to say, man's clerical, spiritual nature." Then follows this very remarkable statement, in which Marx very correctly tells us the essence of democracy. And Marx knows the essence of democracy far better than many who enjoy it. Marx said, "Democracy is founded on the principle of the sovereign worth of every person. This, in its turn, is based upon a postulate, a dream, and an illusion of Christianity, namely, that every man has an immortal soul." Then, coming to the first edition of his work on capital, Marx says, "Persons of and by themselves have no value. An individual has a value only inasmuch as he is a representative of an economic category and belongs to a certain revolutionary class. Outside of that, no value." And Molotov, more recently, carrying on that philosophy, developed the idea that bread is a political weapon. We in democracy would never do that to men. Every man is precious. Every soldier is precious. And this liquidation of man in the modern world is not going to be met just simply by protests of horror. It means that we have to recognize the evil of this particular philosophy and begin affirming in the United States not just mass culture. We perhaps have had too much of that, namely an emphasis upon humanity, as Hitler put the emphasis upon race, as Mussolini put it upon nation, and as the communists are putting it upon a class. It is now high time to affirm in education, in politics and everywhere else, the sovereign worth of the individual. And that means that man has to get back to the true democratic concept, which Marx recognized, namely that every man is a soul. What we are attempting to do now in our Western world is to preserve the fruits of Christianity without its roots. That cannot be done. And what is unfortunate is that we of the Western world have the truth, but we have no zeal, we have no fire. What has happened to the great patriots, to our great champions of righteousness? The communists have stolen the Pentecostal fires. They have the zeal, but no truth. And we with the truth must also have heat and passion and fire, the kind of fire that the Savior came to cast upon the earth. Communists are right in saying this world needs a revolution, but not their cheap kind, which merely transfers booty and loot out of one man's pocket into another. We need the kind of a revolution in the United States and in the rest of the world that will purge out of a man's heart pride and covetousness and lust and anger and envy and gluttony and sloth. In other words, the true battle against communism begins within the heart of every single American. It means the recovery of our own great tradition, of our belief in God, of an affirmation in politics and in economic life, and among our politicians, of the things that are right and true before God. Then we need not fear communism, for if God is with us, then who can be against us?